back to our YouTube channel. Um, my name is Kofire,
I'm Kit.
and today we're going to be talking about a hot topic. Like I said before, I think it's good to branch out from not just reacting to videos, but reacting to hot topics that's going on in our world today in a neutral kind of environment and do different things. So we decided to shake it up a little bit today, and we are going to be talking about it's sort of a hot topic that's on the table right now. Um, there was an incident that happened a few years back where a baker refused to bake a cake for a gay couple, and it was put into court. And I really didn't keep up with if it was allowed or not. But today we're just going to be discussing real quick on our views. His may be different than mine. Mine is probably going to be different from his. Ours is probably going to be different to half of yours out there. And it's okay because I believe that the First Amendment was given to us so that we can express our own point of view. And my mother and father used to both say, just because you have the right to say it doesn't necessarily mean it's right to say. But we've also been given the Religious Freedom Act that was established. And without breaking anybody's religion out there, and I don't believe that it has anything so much how I feel about the situation that it's going against or attacking anyone's religious beliefs or any beliefs at all. And the reason why I'm saying this is what I'm going to say about it. Okay. If someone out there does not want to do designs or bake a cake, or they own their own business and they don't want to serve you because you're part of the LGBTQ plus community, or you're a certain race that they don't believe in serving, or a certain gender that they don't believe that they should be doing anything on, no matter the profession, I do believe that it is in their First Amendment right or their religious belief right that they should not be made to serve you. They should have that right. But as I said before, if they're going to do that, at least have a sign on the door that says, hey, we don't serve
X, Y, and Z.
X, Y, and Z, these type of people. Because one, it lets you know that that establishment does not support you because you're black, because you're Asian, because you're gay, because you're trans, or for any reason. And it also gives you that power back to say, okay, well, I was going to go in here to get my cake made for my wedding, but I see on here that they don't serve gay people. So it gives me more options to say I can take my money and go down the street to a baker that I know that likes gay people, and he's going to get my money. And how do you understand what I'm saying when I say that? Do you think that's a fair statement to say?
I understand that that's your
It's not being
belief
prejudiced.
And let me explain how I feel on it. I'm a mix between the two because, yes, I don't want to give my money to a racist or an individual company that doesn't support who I am, or not just support, but they refuse, they don't want to do it. Well, obviously, if I'm getting a wedding cake done at a store that flat out said they didn't want to do it because I'm a gay person, and then they're forced to. Do you honestly think it's going to taste good? Who knows what's going to be in that cake? So, come on, think about it. No, as far as
It's not to say that they would
Hold
do
on.
something bad to
not
it.
saying that they would,
Yeah.
but do you really want to give your money to somebody like that? Lady with the website, I think that's what it was. The one just recent over the last month or so.
It's still in
Why would-
court.
What? Yeah, but why would I want to give her? Which, if it's a web design, I'm sure it's a couple of hundred, if not more. Why would you want to give her that much money? Go to somewhere else. Hell, there are places online you can do it yourself. To hell with her. Excuse my language. But now, this is where the issue comes from. If they allowed people to discriminate, because that's what it is, against people doing or not doing because of race or sexual orientation,
Gender.
gender, whatever the case may be, in my opinion, that would divide this country worse than it already is. Now, there was something I read or saw on the news, and I'm trying to remember the name of the company or who did it, but somebody refused something with the Republican National something convention, I'm not sure, but they refused to cater it. And they're claiming it was because of their religious views. And the company said no, it was because they did not like the type of people that we have working for us. So we said no for the safety of our employees. Had nothing to do with religious views.
I saw that on TV as
Yeah.
well. They tried to say that they were discriminating against them because I remember what it was is there was a company and this Christian group who automatically did not believe in gay marriage and they did not believe in abortion or a woman's
Yeah.
right to choose. So
And-
they said that the company was discriminating against them because they were Christians.
Correct.
The owners came back and said, no, we didn't say that it was because you were Christian. You said that you didn't believe in gay marriage and gay rights and women's right to choose.
Correct.
So we were protecting our employees because
I just
of
said
your
that.
stances.
I just said
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Okay.
it kind of.
So, bottom line is, it's like the other side of the fence wants their cake and eat it too. You can't have that. Now, I do believe that if small businesses, like Joe Schmo's or Sally's cake store down the street wants to discriminate against whoever they want to discriminate, fine. That's on them. It's a small business thing. But I do not believe that they should get any type of federal grant funding or anything federal. Okay? Now, I do believe that corporations, okay, and when I mean corporations, I mean people that have more than 30 employees that are corporate, not just LLC or small business. If you define yourself as a small business, in my opinion, you should have the right. If you define yourself as a corporate, you should not have the right. You should have to serve everybody, keep your political and your personal views out of it, like corporations do. Because, and this is the why behind it, if small businesses and corporations do it, it's not a good idea. Because then people are you're qualifying yourself for federal funding and all this other stuff, and the federal government doesn't want the discrimination. At least founding fathers don't want discrimination. That's what it was all about. But that's my opinion. So if you're a small business, you did not apply to be a small business by any federal funding, then yes, you should have the right to say whatever you want and serve whomever you want. So that way I know I'm not giving you my money. Now, again, it's reversed. If you found your small business using federal money, federal grants, or anything federal related, you need to shut up. and just serve everybody, just like a corporation does, for that reason. So,
Well, see, I can see your take on that, but I believe that they should have the right to discriminate, if you call it that, whatever you call it.
well, they
I-
do.
I
That's
don't call
fine,
it-
but I don't think
I-
they should get the federal funding.
I don't believe in the word discrimination.
Well, neither do I.
I believe in exclusion. Saying it's exclusion.
It's the same.
And I believe that they should be still federally funded.
I don't.
For one reason, and let me tell you the why. Because the snake that you let loose may be the snake that comes back and bites you. And this is what I mean by that. Let's say that web designer, let's say she goes to court and she wins. And she has the right to exclude gay people like she wants to. And only gay people. Let's say she serves all other races and genders and everything else, but she don't exclude gay. She only excludes gay people.
Okay.
Let her do that, but at the same time, up under that law, once it's passed, she should have to put it on a sign on her front door. We do not serve gay people. All others are accepted. Okay. What's going to eventually happen is 70% or more of this country already validate gay marriage. They accept gay people in businesses and stuff like that. So what's going to ultimately happen is once people keep coming up to that sign and seeing it and they say, oh, she doesn't accept gay people, they're going to go on to the next web designer. They're going to keep going on to the next web designer, and so on and so on and so on. What's going to happen in this bad economy that we're having right now? She's going to eventually file bankruptcy. She's going to lose a lot of money.
You think you don't know this.
Well, if she does, but
they
what
do.
I'm saying is, even if, or she might gain a lot of money,
Okay.
but it's going to be based on reputation. So she's going to have that reputation, and one day it's going to come back to get her because there's going to be a family member eventually in her family that she's going to look back on and say,
There probably already is.
oh,
Okay. So
didn't
then-
realize that.
Okay. Well, let me back up a little bit and rebut that a little bit, because, and I want to say this before you interject.
Okay.
The reason I say any type of federal funding, stuff like that, you should not be able to discriminate, or what was the word you used?
Exclude.
Exclude. I don't know. I was thinking edit, but whatever. Here's the reason why. Small businesses, mom and pop, whatever, they survive, they don't survive, whatever. I don't care. I mean, I want them to survive, but not if they discriminate or exclude. So, Chick-fil-A. I'll use Chick-fil-A as an example.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A was very anti-gay, anti-gay marriage, the whole 9 yards. What did gay people do? We stopped eating there for a while. Chick-fil-A got a lot of flack on it. It was, and they didn't really lose any business, but and
They actually gained a lot more.
they didn't refuse to serve us. They just didn't believe in what we wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, I respect it. You don't believe what we want. That's fine. Whatever. However, as times progressed, what are the reviews now?
Well, a new statement I think came out that the guy, there was a statement that was made that rejected the previous CEO or owner or
Correct.
president or something. I think it was the one down below, said that they didn't stand by that statement. They
Correct.
believe that Chick-fil-A should be inclusive to everyone.
Correct. And
That everyone has a right to, whether they believe, they still said that whether they didn't believe in it or not, should have no right to say that
So they have
just serve food and just keep their mouth
so
shut.
they have progressed.
Correct.
Okay, they finally worded it properly
Right.
because they realize that people that are working for them
Yeah.
are of the LGBTQ. Hey, I got that right. Society. Okay, so they I don't know. Sorry, I'm old school. We started off with 3 letters and now we're an alphabet. But anyways, they progress, and that's why I think that if some of them would be allowed to exclude, maybe they would progress. But the reason I think, in my opinion, the reason Chick-fil-A progressed is they didn't actually exclude people from buying services. They just excluded people from their beliefs, which, hey, it is what it is. You're allowed to believe. Also, and I'm gonna back into the federal government just a smidge. Look at Obama.
Mm-hmm.
When he first took office, he wasn't touching gay marriage with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
Right? Boy, look what he did.
He evolved.
He evolved.
When he was asked the
Biden
question, he's
evolved.
like, I'm evolving on that.
Clinton evolved. Granted, it wasn't as big of an evolve. He did what he was able to do at the time. But the biggest evolver of it was Obama. He wasn't touching it. He said, I don't remember what he said.
Actually, it was actually President now Biden
Yeah.
that asked him. He's like,
I
can you
think-
think about it?
yeah, I
He's
think-
like, I will think about it. I'm evolving on it. It's still something that I've
Which-
got to educate myself more on.
Yeah, and that's
He's an
fine.
educated man,
Correct.
so he started thinking about it more. And as he thought about it, he
I
outweighed
always
the pros
thought-
and cons.
I thought anybody in politics was supposed to be educated, but
No.
4 years ago that showed that didn't happen.
No, that doesn't necessarily. Anybody can be president,
Apparently.
but it.
But no, I mean, I'm just saying, Obama evolved, so people can evolve, and I'm okay with
He
people
studied.
evolving.
He studied
But
it. He
I don't think. I think yes, they should have the right to exclude, but there should be exclusions on the exclusions, because the one thing that the federal government does protect is the Religious Freedom Act.
yes.
You cannot discriminate people because of their religion.
Right.
They
That's-
need to hurry up and put everything else in that same category. But like I said, I think yes, because
Sorry
I
if y'all hear a beeping. That's our bird. We have an African gray. She thinks she's backing up a truck.
Yep. Right, Groot. By the way, this is Groot. Groot, say hi to everybody.
He's
Say
a
hi
little
to
lover. He's a little
everybody.
lover boy.
He's a lover, not a fighter.
Yes, my baby. Mwah.
So, we love our children like
Yeah,
children.
I can see your understanding with that. If they do, let's say for instance, the web designer, she goes to court and she's like, my religious beliefs do not believe in serving gay people. I don't like to print things that say gay. I don't like to deal with the LGBT community. Okay? I do believe in some kind of response the government should come back and say, okay, with the Religious Freedom Act that's passed, we totally respect that. Mm-hmm. We give you the honor. You don't have to serve the LGBT community no more. But you do have to put it on your front door that you don't serve them. And if something happens that you start funneling money and you start losing money and you can't stay adrift, you cannot ask us to bail you out.
Correct. So all the businesses.
Because other businesses that serve the gay people, they were able to thrive. Because, I'm sorry, but in today's society, you got to learn to sink or swim.
Correct.
And they learn to overlook their prejudice. They might not even like gay people. They might hate them worse than you do.
You never know.
But they sucked it up and went with it and said, you know what? We can make more money and just keep our mouths shut
And
and make more money, as opposed to you saying you don't want to serve them openly, so you're losing the money. Now that you're losing the money and you're losing your business, you want to come and ask for federal help, which they pay their taxes also, which goes to helping you keep your business open.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you get bailouts.
Mm-hmm.
The American people pay into the tax system. It goes into a big pool. It's almost like...
It's like when COVID hit and the
No.
businesses needed help.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. But let me give you another fine example of why there's a lot of things that need to be corrected in this world.
Yeah.
And I would say race, inequality, and LGBT and women's rights are probably three of the biggest things that we're never going to get over in this country if we don't talk about them.
Very true.
And even if we talk about them, not everyone's going to agree and accept it.
No.
So, to me, I believe that if everyone could just not just accept that there are black people out there, that there are gay people out there, that there are trans people out there, that there are women out there who sometimes get in trouble and can't find a way out of it and have no way of taking care of it. They should look at it in a different view and say, okay, I don't agree with you, but I can tolerate it.
Mm-hmm.
And live my own life and turn my head the other way and, just walk on by. You know what I'm saying? There's a song that the one video that we reacted to, that Christy Lang, I told you she was an inspirational.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, in the song, she's like, you've got to try a little kindness, show a little kindness, and if you open up your heart, you see that the world is great and divine. Mm-hmm. She basically tells you in the song that if you see your brother standing on the side of the road with a heavy load, give him a ride. Help him up.
Well, it's like the song "We Are the World." So.
Well, I kind of didn't like "We Are the World" because
They excluded Madonna.
Well, yeah, it was.
I
mean, the "We Are the World." I mean, you brought it up, so we gotta discuss it.
No,
"We Are the World" was supposed to be all these singers getting together and raise money to feed Africa.
Yeah.
And who did they leave out at the dinner?
Yeah, I know.
Madonna. The woman who is now still, after 40 years, building hospitals over there from kids from dying from HIV.
Yeah, I know.
But that was karma. But anyways, getting back to this, I think that, the businesses should be allowed to exclude as long as they put their things up there. I'm sorry to say it, and it's not going to come across as racist because I do not believe in that. But it's going to come back to it where, like the 60s, when it said no coloreds or whites only. But it's going to have a sign at everybody's door where they tell you who they include and who they exclude. So you know where to spend. And I think it needs to be. And I think that it's a good thing in a way because you'll know where to spend your money. Yeah. Because quite honestly, it's almost like, you ever heard that saying from some of your friends? You probably heard it, like when you go to, say, a restaurant and they get your order wrong. Mm-hmm. And you hear all the bad stories because you've worked in restaurants before.
Yes.
I have too. And I've never done it myself, but I have seen other young kids do it when we were in high school. When somebody would bitch about something, I told you I didn't want mustard on my hamburger, and they would send it back. What did the people do that you didn't like?
Yeah, you don't want to go there.
They would spit on the sandwich, rub it down there. They would do all kinds of things to it, and you would be eating that sandwich, and you didn't know anything about it.
I don't complain. I just.
That's why whenever I don't get an order right, I just like, okay, I can eat it. It's not what I wanted, but I'll eat it anyways because I'm not going to send it back because I've heard horror stories of what happens
Well,
when
it's
you.
not a matter of sending back. It depends on what's wrong with the food.
And
I mean, if you order a T-bone steak and you get a piece of chicken, well, come on now, that's just that's different.
Yeah.
Now, but if like where we went to, what was it, Longhorns or I don't know, it was some steakhouse, and we went there and it took forever to get my food, and when I got it, it was well done, and I refused to eat a well done steak. So she apologized. She got a new one. She brought it back, and and it was great. You know, the steak was good, other than it was really really salty. But you know that's different. But if you know, unless you have an allergy to mustard, don't complain about the damn mustard. Wipe the mustard off.
Well, but I think we got a little bit off subject.
We did. We tend to do that
sometimes. But the whole message, what I wanted to start with this Hot Topics is, yes, in my opinion, I would rather know when I go into a restaurant if they don't like me or not. So I know if I want to spend my money there or not.
Very true.
As bad as it is that you have to live in a society like that, I would much rather that web designer, if she didn't like me being gay and she wins it in court, they should make them have to put a sign on the door that says this woman fought, not say she fought for the right to exclude gay people, but she should have a sign on there that says gay people excluded. Just like where it says the sign whenever they come to inspect your restaurant, when you get an A or a D grading. I would much rather walk up to a restaurant with an A+ grade for sanitary.
Preferably within the last 6 months.
Yeah. Than someone with an F that failed their
Absolutely.
inspection.
Absolutely.
It's the same concept.
No, I get it.
So you know that you can take your money, your hard-earned money, and go spend it at a place where someone's accepting, or they may not be accepting, but at least they keep their mouth shut, and they tolerate it, and they move on.
Yeah. So.
And they treat you with respect. And that should be for everybody.
So but that's our view on it.
Yes.
Please leave your comments at the bottom, both good
Yeah.
and bad.
Leave your comments of what you would do if you would like to have a notice at the door when you go to a restaurant, a store, a business where you're going to spend your hard-earned money. If it should say on there, you know, we exclude you based on this, this, and this. So if we live in that kind of world now.
What we're saying is leave your comments at the bottom.
Yeah.
And tell us what you think. Would you like to know? Do you want to give them the rights to exclude you? Or do you want it to be like it is now where...
You just don't know
you just
and...
don't know. So...
They go in and they say...
I mean, let us know. We're interested.
Yeah.
And subscribe. We're going to be doing
different hot topics like this every now and then.
Once in a while. So please let us know if you have a hot topic you want to hear.
And if you want to tell us to keep our hot topics to ourselves and you don't like to see them, just let us know. You know, because we do care about the world. We care about the people out there. We do see a lot of hatred out there, and quite frankly, it's unfair because I believe that we should live in a world because even if you're not Christian or you don't believe in Christianity or whatever, we all come from the same place. Some kind of way, boom, we all came from the same place. Whether we have different skin color, we're different genders, we're different makeups,
there's no
whatever.
such thing as a different race. We are all the human race.
We're all a human race. We're not a race. We're a human race.
And if we don't start acting
if we don't,
there's not going to be much of a world left.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So just much love out there, and just remember, like I always tell people, in a world with over 7 billion people, We've got to start learning to get along and make the world a better place to live.
And you are one unique, and you must
yes.
love yourself, and to hell with anybody else thinks.
Exactly. And with that, we have
Peace.
a good night.
Love ya. Have a good one.
Bye bye.